Yeah, so this is a topic that is unfortunate, and it's sad that we have to talk about this, especially with two women in particular that I actually enjoy listening to as far as their reporting, because they aren't very annoying. They're very intelligent about what they do and what they, who they're able to talk to and everything, and the way that they cover the sport. And that happens to be Rachel Nichols, who you see on the screen right now, and Maria Taylor. Maria Taylor is another reporter who is black, and yes, that will be relevant, unfortunately, to this conversation. With Rachel Nichols, who is white. Again, unfortunately, this is still relevant conversation. But essentially, what happened was there was a phone call released, if I remember correctly, or at least a transcript of a phone call or whatever it was, that essentially Rachel Nichols was expressing displeasure in the way that Maria Taylor was getting like coverage, or the something along the lines of whatever was happening with her. And basically, she said something along the lines of, she only got the job because she's black.
Yep.
That's, of course, the quote that then immediately everyone goes like, here we go. Like, this is one of those where there's an underlying feeling of racism there that is the, subtle, person's not outwardly that way, especially handling a sport that's majority black, is something that you don't want to say. And the fact that you said it on a phone call, even if it was a one time mistake, unfortunately, that's the type of thing that you go, if that's how she feels, is that how she's always felt? And has she always had kind of this level of racism? And it's a level of racism that unfortunately still exists in a lot of people, and that's the way that it is. And it's what people don't realize, that it needs to be gone. Everybody talks about, you know, well, it's 2021, it's racism's really not that big of a deal, is it? And it's like, yes, it still is, and it still is even on a micro level like this, where just the subtle hint of, well, she only got the job because she's black, is the type of racism that we're talking about, which is one that's a little deep rooted in a person's personality or understanding of the world, that needs to be wiped from the existence of the world. And unfortunately, this is what happened. And I'm sure Rachel Nichols is a great person. And like I said, I've enjoyed her coverage as far as her career has been. But that's something that, unfortunately, like I said, in a sport that is majority black, you can't just spout off and, act like, it should, you'll be okay, or everything's going to be okay, or you can go back to normalcy without, people being hesitant to talk to you in the future as a reporter, or being hesitant to take you serious as a person, when that's, unfortunately, an underlying thought you have. So
Yeah.
it was unfortunate, but that's essentially the story. And then basically, because of that, Rachel Nichols, I believe, was to cover the NBA finals as a sideline reporter, and essentially got replaced by Maria Taylor then, because of the incident. So if I remember correctly, I think that's how it went. So
Yeah, it's just I mean, it's like immediately one of those things you could just clap back with like, "Oh, okay, like you only got the job because you're black." Just like, "Okay, go ahead and say that to an NBA player." Be like, "You're only out here because you're black." No, you're only out here because you're an athletic freak and you're in
yeah,
the NBA like
and
for a
you're very good at
reason.
the sport.
Yeah. It's
You're very
just
good at what you do.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like literally that one should be straight in your mind of what's going on and like how stupid of a statement that is, because you go, okay, great, I talk to my colleagues and I talk to NBA players, like, okay, let's make the connect there. It should be that easy, but I'm sure this was something said, and I don't know, it's just stupid frustration, and just probably never thought it would come to light, and it did. But the prevailing thought is that that's going on in your head. That's what you believe. That's how you're defending yourself, and why you didn't get the that precious position that you wanted. So, I mean, there's enough wrong there to go off of. We both agree on that part. So,
Yep.
yep, one
Yeah.
of those
It's like
things just comes up. Yeah, that's pretty much all.
yeah, like I said, it's one of those, like you said, one of those things where just it's, you hear it and you just go, like, you just have that thought immediately that is like, well, hey, if this is how you thought in this situation, this is how you've always thought, kind of thing. And again, being in a sport that's majority black, probably not a good idea. So that's
Yeah.
all I gotta say about that. And hopefully, it's hard because it's like don't want her life to be completely ruined because of that. People make mistakes, yeah, but it is one of those where it's like this is what we're trying to get rid of. This is the type of thinking that needs to get be gone from our country and the world. And unfortunately, if this is still going on, even in an NBA reporter covering the league, like this is just unfortunate. And yeah, it's nobody should attack her or come after her because that's not the way that you should act. But it is one of those where again, you just point to it and you go, "This is what we're trying to root out."